Khubor ka Batisi TV. Lawan Rashapi da ka Orange Nissan Loom So Po near Fabricate Shillong, Ringkat bat ka Victorium, ka Dukan ki Tiar Kilan Met, ka Babhatam Hakador ka Babit, Hannong Thumai Old Beat House Shillong.
O Menteri ke Sorkar Jingleh o Paidbah ke Tenat Sam Boarding o James PK Sangma menta ke sengi ke arpu Henry unai leber arjar arpu way ula kenno baka jingye kendo Jingleh jong ke Sorkar Meghalaya Democratic Alliance hagani ke kenti kadai na kadau ke Jingleh jong ke Sorkar Congress nado kisnem ki balalej no bat ke Jingleh aban wengno ya ke jingpedlip boarding ha ke Jingleh barok ke way hagani ki sengi ke baladem kadai na kajing trishtom jong ke Sorkar Jingleh hapo kajing yalam bastat jong menteri rang ba Konrad Kongkal Sangma hakajing ya keren mat kilat pathai khubor uni menteri ke Tenat Sam boarding ulaong bakajing penlip boarding hakipor ki ba Mynshwa kadai na kadau kajing duna ke boarding Henry kajing penlip boarding ke bamentapat kadai na kadau kajing penduna jong ki company ki baju sam ya ke boarding syeke Jingleh Uloong susu bagajing penduna ya kajing sam boarding jong ke nepko bat kiwe di ki company sam boarding kadai na kadau kajing kendu jing jong ki ha kabayadai bat kapisa kapilain. Susu uloong ru baga Sorkar kamban se ban shim da karam kabashilak lai pusau hajar sanspa ahnya puar kelur tengka leng baka atma nirbhar Bharat Abhiyan tang ban siudap ya karam kasa bala pensa ram da ka Sorkar kabarim.
There is a lot of talk going on that load shedding is unprecedented. I want to make it very, very clear that load shedding is something which is not new to the state of Meghalaya. Load shedding has been going on for a very, very long time. The only difference between load shedding in the past and load shedding of now is that the reason for load shedding in the past used to be a deficit in our power, and the reason for load shedding now is because there is a lot of regulation that is being imposed upon us by power generating companies like NIPCO, PGC, or NTPC, and transmission companies like the PGCIL. So this is something we understand that because of COVID, many of these generating companies, central power generating companies, are also facing acute distress, and they also must be feeling that there is no way out but to go ahead and regulate states like Meghalaya and recover whatever dues they can by way of regulation. This is now something that we have seen in the past 2 months, starting from December, that with NIPCO, PGCIL and NTPC, they have scheduled regulation which has affected the supply of power in the state of Meghalaya. But fortunately we were able to address all such issues, and we were able to make sure that the regulation comes to an end, and we have been able to restore power supply. We understand that the issue of power supply at this during these lean seasons when our generation is very less is because of the fact that we are there's a lot of concern because this is a time for students to be appearing for their examinations, and the new norm is that most of these students have to appear in their examinations online, which is why electricity is absolutely very essential during that time when they are writing their exams, appearing for the exams. Apart from that, yes, electricity is an essential service and it is required 24/7. So because of these kind of timing where these regulations have come forward, it's been very, very challenging for the power department, but we have been able to resolve these issues with the kind of support that we have got from the state government, and we've been able to make sure that such regulation or load shedding does not continue for more than 3 to 4 days. As I was saying, regulation is something that is not new to the state of Meghalaya. Regulation has been going on for many, many years. This is something, not regulation, load shedding, I'm sorry. But what we need to also see is that today when PGCIL, NIPCO, NTPC, they are regulating our power, that is the reason for this is that there are huge outstanding dues for which NIPCO and other power generating stations, NTPC, they have, because of their crisis, their financial stress that they're facing, they have been putting up these kind of things, regulations. And today, these dues, if you look at it, are something that have accumulated through so many years. And these were not addressed at a time when when the government could have taken care of this, and these have accumulated to such an extent that our outstanding dues today are a very, very huge sum, which in very simple words I like to say that the kind of misgovernance, the maladministration that took place over the years is something of a legacy that we have inherited, and today we are helpless but to take a loan, that is the Atmanirbhar loan, which is going to address the issues of these outstanding dues. So this is something that has been accumulating over the years. This is something that we have inherited. This is not something that today, because of the actions of this government, that suddenly companies like central power generating stations, they are starting to regulate us. So I understand that there are many quarters who are very concerned about this and who have been very vocal about this. We understand their concerns, and we would like to assure that this government is very, very seriously always working on this. We have been trying to ensure that electricity being such an essential service, we bring down the amount of load shedding in the state. And that is why over the past few months, apart from this regulation, we have been able to avoid load shedding during even the lean seasons where we have less rainfall. So consumers may ask that I'm paying my bills, electricity bills regularly. So why is it that there are power cuts? And this is a very justified question. And I would like to just, for the benefit of our consumers, I would like to just lay some facts out. That today the average income, the revenue that MECL is able to generate on an average in a month is to the tune of 75 crores. That is the average income of the MECL. And however, on the flip side, the kind of expenditure that is there of the MECL is to the tune of 120 crores. That means that there is a deficit of rupees 45 crores in a month. So where does this expenditure go? People may say that since the bills are being paid, there are very much many consumers who pay their bills on time. Unfortunately, there are also those consumers who don't pay their bills on time. There are those consumers who do not get served bills on time. But anyway, apart from all this, the expenditure of the MECL is not just towards the power purchase dues that are there. For power purchase, an amount of about 40 crores is spent every month. Pension and salary is something, is a very big chunk of where this, whatever revenue goes into, it comes to about 34 to 36 crores in a month. So these are the kind of expenses that are there, which totals about 120 crores, for which MECL is having to manage somehow or the other, and they are trying their very best. But this is, again, as I said, a legacy issue. So why is it that today, despite consumers who are there, who are good consumers, who are paying, why is it that today MECL is in such a bad financial soup? There are many reasons, and I have spelled this out even in the assembly session. And one of the biggest reasons for this is because of power purchase agreements that the government of the past has signed without reading on the fine dotted lines. Which has resulted in a PPA, power purchase agreement, like NTPC, for which today we are having to bear that burden. It is also because the government during the time of unbundling in the year 2010 made a commitment to the MECL that you are going for unbundling terminal benefits, that is pension, leave encashment, gratuity, all these kind of things are there, which would be taken care of by the government, and the government of that time committed to paying 844 crores over a period of time, for which they would be able to take care of their terminal benefits. But unfortunately, not a single penny was paid out of that. And today, when we total up the amount of terminal liabilities, that is again, the pension, the leave encashment, the lump sum, all these things have come to a total of 712 crores. 712 crores have been paid from 2010 till February 2021. So this is a very, very big figure which has come from the reserves and the revenue of the MECL. Unfortunately, this has happened. If the government had kept to its commitment of paying that 844 crores, then MECL would not have had to shell out 712 crores and 81 lakhs from their own resources to pay towards terminal benefits. So this has really, really affected the financial health of the MECL. And I'm really very sympathetic to the plight of the MECL today, because they have such kind of huge expenditure, 120 crores in a month. How are they going to manage this? And this is the reason why today, despite these kind of challenges, MECL but still is managing somehow or the other. So there are many other issues that the public is very, very keen to know about, and namely it was more importantly about load shedding. So load shedding is something, as I had just explained, the reason for which MECL has to go in for load shedding is because of power regulation by these companies, and these companies' outstanding dues is not something of today. These outstanding dues have been for the past so many years. Apart from that, there are consumers who pay their bills on time, and we are very keen on making sure that such kind of consumers do not have to face any more problems in the future. And that is why we are bringing in interventions which will bring about very individualized sort of service to these consumers. Those consumers who are very punctual and regular in their payments, we will ensure that uninterrupted power supply is given to them. And they do not have to suffer for the fault of other consumers who may not be paying on time. So these are the kind of interventions that we are bringing in. The Government of India, Ministry of Power, has appreciated our efforts in this regard, and in fact the Government of India, Ministry of Power, has made it very, very clear that henceforth any kind of centrally sponsored scheme that they will be giving to any of our states will be on the basis of reforms. So only those states or discoms who are undergoing reforms or are putting in place reforms of their distribution networks, those are the only discoms which will be taking the benefit or be given the benefit of centrally sponsored schemes. So these are the things which Government of India has appreciated about Meghalaya, and we have been therefore our ratings have also improved from 16 as a discom. Our ratings have improved by 5 points. We are at 21 today, and when the next assessment is done, I'm very sure that our rating of our the points that is given for these for discoms will definitely be going up. So 5 points is a phenomenal jump, and from 15 we now have we are given 16 points as a discom. So these are the things that Government of India has appreciated, and they have made it very clear that if we do not come up with reforms, then there will be issues in the future. So this is a stage of transition. This is a stage wherein we are putting in interventions. This is a stage where there will be many challenges and many difficulties which consumers will face. But I would like to appeal to all our consumers who are there in the state that we will be, once these kind of interventions are put in place, which is mandated by the Government of India, then things will be much more streamlined, and such kind of problems will cease to exist.